Hello guys, today we're going to make a quick update out of the indicators, and we have to talk about that because quite some things are going to change regarding the way the informations will be displayed to you regarding sine waves, momentum, and that new indicator that is technical framework that I've been talking about for quite some time. Those who are following the daily videos might be already aware about this one. I'm ready to release it probably later today or in the next few days. I'm just going to publish that video either in English and French, and I'll basically wait for your reviews, making sure that you guys are okay with that new version of displaying the informations. And if you just basically grant me access for it, I'll just upload it and you guys will be able to use it probably a day right after. So let's get it started. We're gonna have an update out of both momentum and that new indicator that is pro framework. There will be an update out of sine wave chartist version pretty soon, but probably not until 2019 because I pretty much have too much work to do in a day-to-day basis to take care of this at the moment. All right, so we're going to cover this once, and we're going to start with framework, which is that brand new indicator. We've been using it already in a few shows from now, so I'm just going to review that for those who don't watch the daily reviews. So we're going to start from scratch in here. So this indicator is going to take care of two steps of the previous strategy. The first two steps. So remember back then you had to do two steps before searching for technical informations, before searching for cycles and momentum confirmation, before searching for the technical signal. So you needed to take care of step one, which was taking care of the context. So if, for example, right now we were about to trade on that weekly chart time frame, I was requesting you to go into the monthly chart time frame first to make sure that the guys who were trading above you on the highest time frames were not trending, and that you weren't about to trade against that trend, because if they are, then you might be just struggling out of selling a bullish trend of people. So making sure that no ongoing trend or having a framework. Is it ranging? Are you at the boundaries of that range? So you know about that context thing. We're going to have to do it quickly in here because you won't necessarily have to switch time frames anymore. You can trade directly from the chart you might have a look at currently. So this is why this indicator has multi-time frame purposes. And you'll see this because you have the shorter time frame, kind of a channel. This thing is building channels. So you got the shorter time frame channel. It's going to take care of the technical framework, which is step two, in which you were supposed to highlight interesting prices to trade on by plotting trend channels on the charts. Basically what you had to do was to pick the latest two sine wave cycles, create a trend channel out of it, and make sure that you're not selling at the 50% lower boundaries of that channel and only selling at the 50 higher percents. Okay, so what this indicator is going to do is basically going to do it automatically for you. So I gave you, it's an option that you need to turn on. It's not automatically turned on at on the default version. That shows you that 50% line. So for those who absolutely need that line to make sure they're not trading, not selling below that line and not buying above it. So those who want that, you can turn that option on and off. It's off by default, but those who absolutely need, I mean, I think visually you can see where the 50% line is, but if you need it to be straightly plotted in front of you, I can understand that, and you got that option to do it. Okay, so technical framework's been taking care of that trend channel. Okay, and the context is going to be chosen simply, you're going to choose it because of that big trend channel. So when you're on top of that channel, you can generally search for bearish entry unless you've got this, which is the lower boundary channel in here, right in here, that is above 50% of the major channel, suggesting that you have trending context. When you have this, it basically says, yes, you might search for selling entries, or you're trading the upper boundaries of your major trend channel, but as the short term remains heavily bullish, it's a sign of trending. And when the market is trending, you don't want to sell it. All right? So all it says in here is that the bearish demand you might have will just be profit-taking structure, and that you must not get yourself out of that market as it's heavily trending. All right? So in here, you got clear example of a trend. You weren't supposed to sell in here because the shorter time frames channel were heavily plotted back into the main trend channel limits. Right? So the context in here was clearly trending. And obviously, if you ever reach out to the lower boundaries in here, this is going to be buying area signal. So this is obviously where we should find some support in the US equities. If we keep on following the bearish trend and if we break down that bullish context, that bullish framework, we'll have to search for the support of the context. And you can imagine this channel to keep on going forward like that. So you can imagine something like that to be at play. Okay, so imagine that this is what's probably about to come, shortly rising itself, rising its support area until we manage to reach out to that area in which we're going to search for buying entries in the stock market, in the SPX in here, for example. All right, so this is how you're going to use that indicator to answer the first two questions on applying the strategy, figuring out what the context is. So here you got the answer. We are a topish market. Its final stages of a trend. It was going to search for ranging price action before eventually getting into further retracements. And that indicator is also taking care of this because it shows you the first technical retracement level, 33.2%. 33.6% retracement, 38.2%, 50%, 61.8%, and 76.4% retracement uploaded out here. So this will act as support level. Obviously, you can turn them on and off if you don't want them. All right? By default, it's set to on. So if you want to delete them, you just uncheck that box. All right, so here you basically made a quick, but on the local chart time frame, you've made your context analysis in just a few minutes. Trending, late stages of trend, so probably heading toward building a range toward retracement level. First, probably 23.6, and then probably 38.2 might be targeted upon that retracement. All right? Second stage is to make sure that before trading, you are into interesting prices area. So this is why that lower time frame channel is going to act for. So you're going to have to wait for prices to reach out to boundaries, or at least make sure you're trading the signals that are plotted above the 50% of that channel, and you're going to erase any signal that might occur in the lower 50%. And this, if you've got that, you can move to step 3, which is actually and finally looking for momentum and sine wave confirmation signals. Okay, signal really is step 3. If you don't follow step 1 and 2 first, you're just out of trading. You just can't go there and look for sine wave and momentum signal all by themselves. You have to filter them out by those first 2 steps. Okay, so now that it's taken care of, so we're going to switch to a context in which trading was respected according to the strategy. So we're going to use the replay function. We're going to set ourselves back here at the moment at the market top, and we'll see that those indicators were ready to highlight that area. Okay, so as you can see, pretty new information is out there. We're going to talk about this one right after. First, we take care of the first 2 steps, only done with that indicator. You cannot search for any signal until you have signal from the background channel. Okay, and you see I've made you a built-in algorithm that's going to take care of this for you guys. Okay, just wait for it. All right, there you go. It says price okay. So there's a built-in algorithm that's going to take care of analyzing the context for you. And it says you in here you've got context and technical framework suggesting high probability of showing selling activity in here, just because of technical price analysis. So it says technically we should see some sellers. Now go have a look at other informations to see if you have the same confirmation. Have a look at the usual sources we're using, which is the momentum. Is momentum compatible with you selling? And are the cycles okay to do as well? This is where you get into watching for sine wave and momentum. Sine wave in here says, okay, we're searching for exit structure, which means if you do trade the signal, you need to get the fuck out of here. Exit means for the bulls, it's time to get out. For bears, it's time to trade a trend. It's time to trade a range that will probably be released by the downside. So you can expect range first and then bearishness to come, because exit means we have high probability of reversing the trend afterwards. Okay, so in here, sine wave says okay, and momentum now says okay as well. So built-in algorithm for momentum, I just changed the display. Back then it was saying bear okay and bull okay. Now it's just saying momentum okay. And it's coloring either red or blue as well. So red message from price, red message from momentum, and you can see that red message from sine wave in here directly from momentum's area, because right now, you're going to be able to see sine waves oscillate right into momentum. You can see the local sine wave, okay, so it's the local time frame sine wave, and you also got the option of seeing the context sine wave. So the sine wave of the higher time frame, the one you must follow because it's the one that the bigger the traders who are trading the higher trends will probably take care of. Okay, and there is a built-in algorithm as well in here that's going to tell you whether the sine wave on the upper time frame suggests those guys must be searching for selling or buying entries. Okay, so in here it says higher time frames trader might also search for sine wave bearish signals. So in terms of cycle activity, there might be bears on the higher time frame. This is what it says. But this one is a higher time frame signal. Of course, it doesn't prevent you from seeing and having a look at the local time frame signal. It's just an additional signal that will highlight the strength of the trading signal. When you have those signals with a higher time frame sine wave confirming as well, mean that you can last and keep those trades on the higher time frames context, which means you can take that trade and probably take it for 20 to 30 bars, not just 5 to 10 bars. Probably that signal is going to last for 30 bars, all right? So it's a big, big signal when you've got all the indicators signaling together on a multi-time frame basis. In here, you've got price okay, and you're in the bearish context, and you also have bearish demand on context cycles, and finally, you've got sine wave confirming. So it's a 4-on-4 indicators, and you've got exit on sine wave and exit on fucking momentum. So that's the strongest ever signal you could get. All the indicators signaling together, and both with exit structures. When you have that, you fucking don't want to be bullish. We know what happened afterwards. I hate making yesterday's weather forecast, but that's how it goes. I have to use the replay, so obviously I have to take care of something that already happened. Okay, now you can see the context been switching to bullish in here. Okay, it's a bullish context because we're reaching out to the lower boundaries of the technical framework, and that technical framework is still above 50% of the major channels, suggesting in here we might find some support. Okay, prices were okay, but we were pretty far from having a bullish momentum right here. All right, so you're not buying, or you can buy at short terms or go into the lower time frames in which this channel is going to be the context. It just says in here in weekly chart time frame, you cannot trade because you don't have a momentum. And have a look at this. This isn't something new, and we're going to talk about this. It's a new pattern, so I'm going to highlight this. Okay, when you have this, you know about that. Generally, it's the overload signal. It says the momentum is really tight. It's even further than overbought. It means overbought and oversold. In here, it's heavily oversold, meaning that generally you don't take those signals because it means the momentum will push further away and probably retest that level or even go lower. But if you are trading a technical level, a precise level, this can act as a bullish short-term confirmation signal out of momentum. So in here, it could be a momentum confirmation signal on a technical price area, but you need to be on a clear technical level. And in here, to set things really straight, we were on a technical level, just one that I don't highlight because it's a very rare level to trade on. It's the 14.6% retracement, okay? So right in here, you could have traded that signal. Sorry, I didn't put the levels accordingly, so as you've seen, yeah, because we don't have the magnet thing. All right, let me put it right at the bottom. All right, and then you see, no, we didn't plot it right perfectly. Otherwise, yeah, it should fit perfectly. As you can see, the Fibonacci levels are exactly the one you would do if you were plotting yourself. So 14.6, which is not highlighted in the indicator, is right here. So you were trading perfectly on that level on a technical support framework area with an heavily oversold momentum. So in here was a short-term buying signal, or at least risk management. If you were selling down here, you need to lower the stop loss or take partial profits or manage the risk because you should see some retracements. This is obviously what we saw acting right after. The market is now retracing. Doesn't mean the market is bullish. It just says we have retracement. We're probably going to have more bearishness in the future because that signal is really the strongest signal you could get out of reading the indicators. All right? So we're going to take a few other examples just to make sure you got it right. And then we're going to get into further coloring and context we can make in editing that indicator. So we're going to delete this as well. Don't need the retracement anymore. All right. Let's switch to another signal that might have been really easily highlighted by the indicators. I bet this one might have been. Sorry about that. Let me just get to this again. All right. Okay, so let's see if the indicators were about to highlight that support in here. On a weekly chart time frame, this was the major latest to swing, buying at the lows in 2016 and getting the fuck out a few weeks ago from now and waiting for the market to build a range that we will probably create a bear market out of in the future. Basically what I've been saying to you each and every day for quite some times already, but now you can clearly see that it's not just me bullshitting, it's just the technical suggested that way. So moving on. How we would be able to highlight 2016's bottom buying entry. So prices were suggesting bearishness in here, all right? We kept on following this way. Sine wave says okay. So we've got bearish, bullish, no consensus among the indicator, all right? Momentum's okay right now. It's been gray and now it's taking profit pattern confirmed. So we've got bears exiting right here, profit taking. All right, we're on support area. We've got a Fibonacci level right below where it fits. So we're watching closely for that area. I would suggest at that moment you put a conditional order out of the 23% retracement because if prices are offered, you want to buy them out. But at the moment, you're just waiting for something because prices are not yet okay. Yes, we're testing that support, but we're still under heavy pressure of that bearish demand we have right here. So we're waiting for consensus. All right. There you got it. Okay, right in here, you've got sine wave okay. Prices are okay. You just wait for a momentum confirmation as the earlier profit-taking structure hasn't been confirmed by the previous candle close. Might be showing pretty soon. It is. We're oversold. We've got it. Momentum, sine wave, price. Three structures, all highlighting a high probability of a long-term swing to happen in here. So a monthly swing to occur that you can trade on a weekly chart time frame. Then you got the confirmation of sine wave showing right after and right in here. You can be confident that the long-term traders took it over and bought it. So it's a strong buying signal in here with very low risk to get yourself into. So in here you can use that trade and you can pile up additional position in the days after that because what you bought in here, you can definitely put a stop loss below those levels. You know that the 23.6 is probably going to act as a support. You don't know at that stage. The market can retrace, make some pullbacks. It's not necessarily going to be a straight line answer out of the signal, but it says high limited risk, which means a very high probability that other traders have been acting accordingly as well, meaning that you have odds in your favor. And that's all we care about in trading markets. We're not here to play gods, not knowing whether the market will rebound or not. We're just here to manage the risks and make sure that you're not trading alone. All right? So that being said, I'm going to ask you guys to post some comments out of what you just seen in here. Do you like it? Do you think it was better before? Do you want me to push that update or not? So I'm watching closely for your reviews. I'll wait 24 to 48 hours to watch for those reviews, and if they are clearly signaling that you are okay to proceed, then I will make the update on TradingView, and normally you should be able to get those indicators updated before the end of that week. So see you guys in the next few days and hope you'll enjoy those updates.